Today's quote for the day. Whoever you look up to or put on a pedestal, know that they have fears too. They just learned how to push past it. By Layla Ali. All right, I got my helper, well, two helpers, Barney and Owen, out here. So I was out here last night, got the bolts in the bell housing, got it hooked up to the engine hoist here. We might have to shove some other crap out of the way here. I did pull off these nice little heat shields, but I sprayed a bunch of liquid wrench on the manifold bolts there, so hopefully those come off halfway easily. But the next thing is we're gonna get this thing off of here, or I should say lift it up and set on to this K-member. I got the engine mount sitting over on the shelf and the transmission cross member, and I got the transmission up there, and I think I have all the hardware I need. So let's see how far we get with this. All right, just giving a little update here. Got the K-member, we just kind of lowered the engine and then lifted the K-member up slightly and bolted the K-member up to the engine there. I almost wonder if I should get spacers, because there was a gap. Like, you tightened up one side and there was a gap between the motor mount and the K-member. So I wonder if I should get like those corner spacers and put them in here so it's not pulling over on that motor mount so bad. But maybe I'll think about that some more and get that going. It might be a pain getting these headers off of here, these manifolds. Not much room between the K-member itself there and these exhaust manifolds. This side's got a little more room, but I'll get that figured out. So next step is figuring out how to get set onto this dolly and get it off the hoist.
Jeez.
I'm so stoked right now.
Should we put the headers on now?
All right. We got the stock iron manifolds off. We got most of them came out. The studs came right out of the cylinder head. We have two on this side where the stud stayed in and the nut came off. And on this side, we have one where the nut came off, and the rest of them, all the studs came out. Looks like I got a little clean up here to do, but I'm not going to worry about that right this second. And you can see here, Mr. Owen has one of the BBK long tubes out of the box. So I lucked out and found this as a Facebook store for someone who decided he wasn't going to use them after the fact. I'm short hardware, but I got pretty much everything else I need, and we're just going to try to mock them up loose on the engine here. All right, before I call it quits for the night, I just thought I'd show where I'm at now. So, of course, I showed before I had my wonderful son Owen out here helping me. But here's the state where we're at right now. But I think I showed before, we got the engine sitting on the K-member. Got the cast iron manifolds off. And we had a couple of studs that came out with, and the nuts came off the studs. Oh, shop supervisor. But we had a couple, I think two on this side where the stud stayed in, and then we couldn't get the exhaust header on, so we ended up just double nutting it and spinning the stud right out. I had one on the opposite side of the engine, did the same thing. Got that stud pulled out of the engine. And my son did a lot of good work here. He did a lot of the work here getting the header on. Got the transmission bolted up. This header's bolted on, just loosely bolted on. I think we have 3 bolts in here. So it's kind of, well, it's snugged up. It's not like torqued down or anything like that. This side we ended up just putting two bolts back in just to kind of hold it in place to kind of give us an idea. And then we mounted up the Prothane bushing, transmission mount bushing here, and just mounted the Stifler's cross member on here just to kind of get an idea of how it's going to look. I don't know if anyone has any advice on this. I tried getting a metric bolt and that didn't quite line up with the threads in here, so then I got an SAE bolt, but it seems like it's kind of loose in the hole, but I don't know, it still seemed to get snugged up. So we're giving this a shot. I wish I would have been recording this, but we did move the car back just with the jack, holding it under the cross member, so we got a little room up here. And I just took a 2x4 and ran in some leg screws to kind of space the chain out so it kind of clears the hood latch bracket there. This is where we are now. We're just gonna pop the trans cross member off so we can slide this thing under the car. Let's see how this goes. just a little update here. Looks like it's inside the frame rails there. I don't know, things aren't lining up here. What are we up against? We're up against the firewall. God damn close. I might see if I can pull the car ahead a little. It's up against something. I think I'm up against a header. So.
Yeah, it needs to be on my side.
Yep.
Needs to move back a good 1/4 inch.
Yep.
It's a header.
Yepper. So we might have to do some pounding on the firewall.
Let me see.
Get over here. All right. So we got this thing almost down against there, but as you can see, here's the bolt hole right here. So it's about 1/2 inch back from there, and we can't get this bugger to go back any further because if you can see it down there, maybe try to get a decent angle. Can't see it very good from here, but that one header pipe straight down here is up against the firewall from what I can see right here anyway. So I think we have to do some manipulation of things. Okay, so we lifted the car way up again. Like I said, I think it was this header pipe that was hitting against the firewall. Actually, I might try to pound it down a little on this side. So I did just kind of pound it a little bit flat there. And then, if you can see it there, it used to have a nice kind of round corner like that. Got it all hammered in underneath where that little grommet is, and that's where it was hitting. So we're giving her another shot and see how it goes.
Gotta get the high five in the.
Thanks, Owen. All right, so Owen and I were out here toiling away. And as you can see here, that engine, still got to do a transmission mount in it. But we got it all bolted up in place. So like you saw, we used the engine hoist, lowered the car down over the engine. And I did have to pound that firewall a little bit to clear that header pipe down there. Probably can't see it very good, but it's fitting now. We got all the bolts in. Thanks to Eric, the car guy. It worked really well to use the hole drilled in the bottom of the K-member and the frame rail to get everything lined up. But we just got it sitting here, lowered the car down, cinched up these bolts here, and then the 2 on the back on each side. So those 8 bolts. So those are all snugged up in there. So the engine's sitting in there, completely suspended on its own K-member. And we got the jack stands here. But unfortunately, my son was getting tired. He's a college guy, and he's got classes tomorrow, so he went in. And so thanks to him, we got this thing at least in. And I still got to get this transmission mount in there, but we'll work on that tomorrow night or this weekend. But the greatest thing in the world right now for me is seeing this thing sitting in the engine bay.